All right, good morning. Welcome to the protocol update for August 24th. Max's last protocol update. His last day is tomorrow. So we'll let him go first. He's working on HIP 30. Yeah.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah, on HIP 30, like we've discussed over the past 3 days, I'm still working on the balance migration. Other than that, all is good to go. Once the balance migration is finalized, I'm gonna create separate pull requests for all of the parts and should be good to go. SOF has made a document and I've reviewed it that outlines what external validators should do to continue to participate in the network post HIP 30, and it looks good to me.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Soph, for taking that on and yeah, getting the validators kind of synced up on their process. So. Yeah, we had a great discussion yesterday, Max. I appreciate all the work you've done on HIP 30, and I think this process is the best. I know we talked about doing it with the smart contract, but I think the way that we're going forward with it is the best and easiest for validators.
Yep. So as a reminder, because I would like for this to be as a part of the record here, all of the validators will be required to import a database or a table from a database that is effectively a key value table. The keys are the hashed addresses and the values are the addresses themselves. This this mapping is going to be used while we're iterating through the Merkle Patricia tree, which contains all of the account data. The iteration through the Merkle Patricia tree is guaranteed to be deterministic in the sense that no matter which node is running the iteration, it's going to be the same. And all of the nodes can then iterate through the Merkle Patricia tree and generate out transactions or cross transactions that migrate balance from shards 2 and 3 to shard 1. And the leader node will create a block, and the other nodes can then validate the block on the same principles. The only thing that can sort of cause a hitch here is the timing at which they import the database. So let's say we generate the database at block 40 million, and they import the database at 42 million. So there's a 2 million lag during which any pre-images that should exist, they would not have it. We're working it around by forcing uh, that after each import, it checks that the block number is in such a manner that the import is consistent. If not, the node will generate the missing pre-images on at that point in time, and will only proceed with validation after. And we're also having um, an API that will export these pre-images to disk uh, for us to copy to S3 or storage regularly. And if they're able to do that, any nodes that have sort of lagged behind, they can catch up in the pre-image part, pre-image side.
Yeah, and it's good to also probably note on this meeting, since it's for the community, that once that migration has started, the shards 2 and 3 will no longer accept transactions.
Yep, that's correct. And
Awesome.
the long-term impact of the pre-images is not expected to be significant because it's just a hash and an address for all possible addresses. That's not going to be, well, all active addresses. That's not going to be a lot. So we don't need to necessarily work on cleaning up the database after.
If there is a time where we want to delete that database, is that something that is much work? I don't think it would be, but just for clarity.
Yep. So all entries in the database are prefixed with certain, all keys are prefixed with a certain prefix. So we can just iterate through use a prefix idle to get rid of.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate all your work on this, Max, and everything that you've done for Harmony. And I know I'm gonna miss you, and I'm sure everyone on the team feels the same way. So, yeah, good luck in your next endeavor, and we appreciate you.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Son?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah, so this week, the past week and this week, I was mostly working with the on-site team regarding the one bot that we have launched. So in terms of protocol, I don't think I have too much update to give. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, we know that the Harmony One bot was released the other day, and I think I spent a majority of like my morning yesterday playing around with it, and just kind of testing out its features. And yeah, it's a cool little all-in-one AI bot that I'm sure is just gonna get better over time.
Yeah. If you guys are feel free to try it out, and if you guys have any feedback, so feel free to send it to me. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate you, son. Thanks. Constantine?
Yeah, hello. I was working on a view change for validators. Finalize this PR. I got some comments in the night, and I'm going to review them today. But mostly it's fine and it should work. And I have a PR with adjusting block period. It's almost work, but it has some. It requires some additional features. For example, we reduce block period, and we should reduce block gas, for example. It should be less, I guess. So I have some additional features to implement, and I guess I will finalize it tomorrow.
Awesome. Did you want to give a little update on the empty blocks, or?
It's almost correct. Oh, 1 second.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I don't know if you're pausing, but
yeah. I'm going to update. It's almost correct, but I will right now.
okay. I guess one thing I kind of just brain farted on with Max. I did update this Jira, Max, with the multi-sig for the
Yeah,
for the validators.
Thank you.
Yep, sorry.
Sorry,
Awesome.
I have a question for Constantine. The empty blocks that are sort of not going to be generated for a small period of time, would that impact the annual yield for validators, given that we distribute the reward per block?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have two possible impacts. First of all, it's a reward, and second, it's more slower blockchain, and yes, so we have to think about this.
There might be a problem, Konstantin, because the reward is per block, right? So if you skip blocks, then you have to figure out how to steal rewards, you know.
It's actually not a skipping blocks. We make more bigger period when there is no transactions, and less period when there are transactions. So possibly it will be same, but without empty transactions.
So are you saying that there will be, okay, today reward are being given at each block every 2 seconds, right?
Right.
So with that particular change, would the block production pace be different?
Sure. Yes.
So
If
like
it
the
is, then
average,
what
so
would be?
will it be 2 seconds or will it be higher?
Maximum 5 seconds currently. It's random time. We can choose it, and from 1 second to 5 seconds.
Okay, so you expect it to average out to 2 seconds over a longer period of time?
Um,
I think that depends on
you
usage,
repeat.
right?
Actually, we have to test it because I can't say without testing this. First of all, I have to implement this, and later we can check how it works. Because, for example, one period block time can be a real problem. It works on local net, but I'm not sure will it work really on real network.
Right. And when you do things, Konstantin, right, I'd like you to invite on what would be the impact in terms of UX, okay? Because at the end, blockchain is being used by users, right? So if they had to wait longer than the usual 2 second, that may be a problem now. Okay.
No. They should wait longer if there is no transactions. Mostly, but of course, if they have, for example, some block in contract and they reference this block will be slower, of course, and it will take more time. And in this case, it can be problem.
Okay, sure. Then that's not so bad. Now, I mean, the only problem that I'm seeing right now is on terms of reward. Okay, because
and sorry, first of all, it's just like a proof of concept. Maybe it will work fine.
I understand that it's a POC, but at the end, you still have to figure out or understand the impact to our token economics, which is already quite changed, right? And we need to, Casey, we need to work on that data because if HIP30 coming live, we have to do some update on that token economics.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely proof of concept. Just kind of getting ahead of the ball a little bit on it. But I think our main goal is to get the 1 second finality, and then from there, we can worry about empty blocks. I think.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. The empty block feature is actually something that Cosmos is already doing, or Ethermint. It works well, okay, because you just wait for transactions in the pending transaction pool, and then just create those blocks if there is a need, okay. But if not, they won't create anything. But it's like the chain is like dead, So of course there is a timeout of 5 or whatever, and there will be still empty block at a point of time. But this is a special behavior, okay. I'm just not sure how in Cosmos how the reward is being given, right? But for us, it's per block. So if there's less block produced, right, then there'll be less reward as well, and that's will be a problem now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, but maybe we can get higher reward or some other cases.
Yeah, sure.
Great. Thanks, Konstantin, for the update. Appreciate you. Guys?
Before I start, I want to suggest, Konstantin, I don't know, maybe that helps. If you want to extend the block time like for 5 seconds or 4 seconds or whatever, maybe we have kind of ratio or something to increase for the longer blocks. So by this way, maybe this concept works, and we have not that much change on the rewards, first of all, and the second, the database will be smaller because we are creating less blocks, but the reward would remain same. But that's just a suggestion. I don't know if it really works or not. Mostly I'm focusing on the improvements I mean, Stream Sync is on the DevNet already since like a few months, and it's working fine. But if you want to move it to mainnet, we had a few issues that I documented all of those issues 2 weeks ago, and this week I was mainly focusing how to fix all of this issue, how we can improve it to be ready to go to mainnet. Those changes are ready. I created the PR 4493 for that, but I drafted the PR because it needs to be tested on DevNet first and then testnet, and then we can merge it. So basically, a few issues is addressed on this PR. First of all is the one big issue that we have on mainnet is like many of the nodes, they don't have the full database. So in a stream sync, the neighbors is asking or query for some specific blocks, but that node doesn't have them. So I checked, I had a lot of discussion with the Soph as well. So we check the Ethereum and other chains as well and see what they do is they simply drop the peer and they drop that stream and switch to another one. I implemented exactly same thing. So basically, if the node cannot reply with any block and they are sending the empty blocks array, I will drop them. The next thing is we had a couple of things to handle if the node failed to reply on some of the queries. So we have an counter. So every time one of the streams fail, we increase that counter. And if it reached to a threshold or a certain amount of failures, we drop that stream as well. I improve this functionality as well, so the nodes would be longer on the list. And we give him a chance for 30 minutes. If for 30 minutes again the stream work fine without any issue, I reset the counter again, which we in the codes is called fault recovery threshold. And the next thing that I wasn't working and improved it was the normalized function. Every time in the config file we set the options for the sync. These options was a bit hard to understand how they work. So first of all, I documented all of them and explain exactly how they work based on the current code. And then I changed a bit on the normalized function because for me, a few of them doesn't make sense and I changed it. I had a discussion with the Soph as well, and we are going to test them again tomorrow. So that was another thing. And a couple of things on the discovery side, because the node start discovery, and then after discovery is done, the stream sync, if the stream sync sees the enough pairs on the list, it will start the syncing process. But sometimes some of these streams are failed, so we remove them, and then the number of streams on the list will be less than what we need and less than required. So we need to re-trigger again the discovery process. So that's one of the things I also improved on the code, and all of them are into the this PR 4493. So haven't tested yet. We will start testing it on DevNet first tomorrow, and then if everything goes well and we don't see any issue, and I see the improvement on that, we can move it to the testnet and later mainnet. But in the mainnet, for sure, we need to, as per discussed with the Soph as well, we need to increase the number of the full nodes. Maybe we need like more 10 or 12 or 20 more full nodes on the mainnet, because if we run the stream sync, it will keep asking the other streams and dropping them, asking, dropping, asking, dropping, till it find the full node on the on the chain. So that's one of the things that we have to do. And the process would be like, first we enable only a stream server, a stream sync server. And if all goes well, we can enable the stream sync client as well, which that means entire mainnet will fully work on the stream sync. So the things are ready. I don't see any more things to be added or improved on the stream sync. And how it works, if any issue later, I will change it or I will update the code after testing. And I added all of you guys to review the code, so it would be much appreciated if you guys take time and review the PR. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Are you able to give a little bit of an update on the pruning? I know that there's like one more task left, and I think it was on Adam, but I think he might have punted it, but maybe not. Maybe Adam can give a little bit more light on it.
So
I totally did. Yeah, so what's left at just finalizing the test, and I think I mentioned before, the issues I was running into testing is I couldn't get the state pruning to actually execute when trying to do tests on local debug. I know Gaius and I did have a little time to discuss it, but I haven't had really any time to kind of dive into it any further. That's kind of where I left that one. And also looking at one of Max's pull requests from last year too. So basically reviewing the strategies behind our deploying our scale delegation, hard forking changes, and fixing a ton of merge conflicts. There's quite a bit of movement since about over a year ago since that pull request was opened. I did migrate that branch off of Max's repository into our main under clear stale staking data. So it's under Harmony now. Max, if you can go ahead and just message me all the pull requests that you think I might need to go grab the branches off, so I can go ahead and commit them over to Harmony's code base. Then I'll take care of that. What else do I got here? So I have a bunch of pull requests outstanding still with Satoshi Labs and Ian Coleman tools, just to kind of go in accordance with converting our slip, our derivation path. We're moving back to the Ethereum default from 1023. So everything is being defined as legacy. So I'm just waiting for those pull requests to come across. I'm currently on site this week. Currently right now working on a one-pager to go over with the team here in a few hours for account abstraction to kind of define our goals and our and operations in that initiative.
Awesome. Yeah, I did finally add a Jira story for the prefix, and I did add the link to the Notion document. That's just kind of briefly kind of just shows like the process and how it's going to be processed with our partners and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I was actually looking for that document to do a quick update. Can you go and just assign that story to me real fast? It's easy to.
Sure.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And then I'll throw all my notes in there. Yeah, I'll let you know about the updates to the Notion doc. Essentially, everything that's 1023 path, I'm just going through and ensuring that it's labeled as legacy. And so we'll make sure we support that in the document.
That's great. Yeah, I think most of our partners, especially the exchanges, use the one prefix. So there'll be a lot of hand holding during that process. So be nice to get you on there.
Cool.
Thanks. Anything else, Adam?
That's it for now. I think I did cut Gaius off. We were talking about the state pruning. If you wanted to go ahead and just talk on that for a second, and I got a chat.
Gaius, did you have anything to add on that? I know you were kind of talking a little bit about it, but
sorry, I distracted by PR. Sorry, what was the question?
when we discussed the testing for pruning, Adam and you were kind of talking at the same time, and then Adam just continued. I didn't know if you had anything that you wanted to add in regards to the testing or the finalization of state pruning.
Yeah, actually, the state pruning, one of the things that it needs, I mean, I added it in the separate PR, is a snapshot. So basically, this snapshot is like the kind of works like a cache. So everything is there, all the latest try is there. So based on that, this state pruning code can fetch each of the nodes there and analyze them and see which one needs to be deleted or see which one can be remain in the code. Sorry, in the try. So that snapshot, I guess one of the reason that the issues that Adam uh, he wasn't able to execute the test is the snapshot part. Maybe we can test and make sure that the snapshot is working first, and then we jump on the state pruning itself. Because the pruner code is given from Ethereum. So the basic function of the pruner, because pruner is same as Ethereum because we use the same database as Ethereum and we exactly use the same structure as Ethereum. So the pruner part should works 100% because it works on the Ethereum side. But whatever else that I added myself, maybe the problem would be on that part. So one of them is the snapshot, and I think it needs more tests on a snapshot, and we see how it exactly creates a DB or snapshot or what data actually is there. Do we need to, maybe I missed some part of code that enables the snapshot properly or something like that. So that's what I think on that code. Yep.
Yeah. So my advice as well here is that we have to think about what are the different type of node we are going to use with a snapshot, right? So today in the Harmony network, we have two type of node, validators and explorers, right? So ideally, when that snapshot is being downloaded to whatever node, right, that node type needs to work, right? For Explorer, for instance, there would be to be able to sync subsequent block and still maintain the same answers for the JSON RPC answers. Okay. For the validators, the most important thing is to be able to sign, right? So be able to shoot the snapshots, sync until the last block, and then start to sign. Okay, so that would be the thing that we would like to test if you ask me now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. The state pruning that we implemented is offline one. So basically, what validators or anyone, how they can use it is like they just need to execute a command with Harmony binary. So they say Harmony snapshot state pruning, something like that. So it's like a command, and it works offline, and they can decide they want to prune database or not, and that will reduce the storage and will remove a lot of extra data that we don't need them anymore to be on the database. But for sure, for the Explorer database, it doesn't make sense to run this command, and we should have the entire database there, the full DB there. And also for archive nodes, that doesn't make sense to use the prunes. But this pruning, I mean, mostly is when the database get, I mean, it's in terms of the size, it's huge, and some of the nodes, some of the validators, they get limit on the storage size, or they need to go and buy the disk again. So they don't need to do that. They do the pruning, and the database become like 20% or 30% the size, and they simply can continue with the same node and the same server.
Yeah. Is that the same thing as the SnapDB today, guys?
The SnapDB that we had is a different thing. So the SnapDB, we have like a clone of the database somewhere on the nodes. All the validators or anyone can download it, right? But the state pruning is about how you remove the extra data in the database without affecting anything, and the node is still performing same as before the pruning. But because you know the Ethereum database or the database that we are using is append only. That means the data only append to the DB. We don't delete the DB. we don't delete any data from the DB. So whenever we have a new data or nodes want to be added to the DB, we add it, and then we create a new root hash. So that new root hash will point to those new data, but still the old data is in the DB. But the node doesn't need them because that data already is updated. That means not actually updated, we append the new data, but we don't need those old data, so they can be deleted. But one of the biggest challenges for the pruning that the Ethereum has, the challenge also, is like when you're reverting the DB. So you cannot just simply go, oh, this data is extra, let's remove it. No, because maybe you want to revert 100 blocks, for example, or 128 blocks. So you should have all the old data in the DB. If you are doing the revert, still you are able to do that. And couple of other challenges. So it doesn't, I mean, it looks simple, but in the implementation and how it works is quite complicated, and you can't touch something in the DB without making 100% sure that we don't really need it. And one of the other big problems on the state pruning is the performance, because we are working on the terabytes of data. And if you want to go and check one by one the nodes and compare this node with a lot of other nodes, it takes a few years to be completed. But you have to find a mechanism to go and in a small time can compare one node with billions of the nodes and decide this node is extra or not, which is quite complicated things. And they use the Bloom filters and a couple of other things to just estimate if this node is really needed or not. Like that. Yep.
Mhm. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for the detailed explanation. I appreciate that. Soph, do you have anything to add before we close it out?
Yeah. So for the HIP 30, I have a draft announcement to the community, right? I need to add some more detail in terms of the account migration, but my plan right now is to have first everyone that pre-image DB into their node. Okay, only once that is confirmed that we would schedule the hard fork. Okay, the reason being is that if any of the node doesn't have that pre-image, for the time where we do those cross-shard transaction for the one transfer to shard one, right? Those nodes who doesn't have that DB, they will be forked out. Okay, so there will be a problem. So that's why I don't want to schedule a hard fork before everyone has a DB. Okay, that's one. Two, I was just talking to Max just now in regards of when those cross-site transactions are supposed to happen. Okay, the original idea was to do like 10 or 20 blocks before the epoch activation happen. Okay, but the challenge here is that shard 2 and shard 3 doesn't have that information. Shard 0 has it. Okay, so I was suggesting to Max to just do it at epoch n-1, right? Start those transfer. Okay, so we will have like 18 hours to finish those transfer. Okay, now I'll let him decide and see if he can find something else. Yeah, that would be it for me.
I mean, one suggestion too out the rollout of HIP 30 might be to just also have the hard fork that does the emission. And maybe we can deploy that before. Sorry, Max, you got a little feedback there. And maybe deploy that before shutting down and migrating shards 2 and 3.
Okay. I can separate out the emission.
Yeah, you're a little quiet there, but I can kind of understand what you're saying. Yeah.
I can separate out the emission into a separate hard fork. Got it.
Yeah, and I think Soph, you might agree with that as well. Just to have that process started, and that way we can flush out and fully test that migration before it happens. And it gives a little bit of a buffer time, and yet delivering part of HIP 30.
Sure. You just have to be careful because the emission that you want to do, right? If you have 2 shard or 4 shards, there's a difference, okay, in the code. So we just have to be careful into data.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, maybe we can discuss that offline, you and me together.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, again, Max, we're gonna miss you. We appreciate it, everything that you've contributed, and I'm sure we're gonna, buzz you every once in a while with questions. But yeah, I just want to give you some love and appreciation. So
Thank you,
we're gonna
guys.
miss you.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
miss
thank-
working with every one of you.
Thank you very much, Max.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys later. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Bye.